Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at Invincible. This is the Ultimate Collection Deluxe Book 5. Mine's a little bit beaten up. It says here, ever since Invincible's father, Omni-Man, revealed himself to be an alien conqueror bent on taking over Earth, Invincible has been working for the Global Defense Agency led by Cecil Stedman. He's been fighting their fights, defeating their enemies. He's been a good soldier, but now something has changed. Invincible can no longer follow their orders unquestioned. Now he finds himself up against the very organisation he's been working for. This won't be pretty. This volume contains 48 through 59 and The Astonishing Wolfman 11. Now, I don't know if that's a random sort of issue they created for this book, or if The Astonishing Wolfman actually is a separate book, but that was an interesting sort of issue in there. So let's take a closer look at the book itself, and then we can come back and discuss my thoughts overall. So you might want to take my book's build quality with a pinch of salt, because I got this one to me quite bashed up. One thing I would say though for the build quality of the book is, even in its bashed up state, the book still read through really well. So, you know, take that for what it is. But say, yeah, mine's a bit beaten up, so I'm probably going to replace my copy. But I thought I'd show you guys this anyway, so we'll just quickly go through this. We've got Invincible Volume 5 with the purple down the side. We've got Invincible flying in his latest costume and his brother there with him. The spines all match up to what we have so far, with the purple sort of 5 and image on this one. And then similarly kind of continuing down on the back overall. Taking the dust jacket off. As with all the other volumes, we've got Invincible indented on the front here, the names and things indented down the side, and then, as I say, nothing on the back. As I said, my book's got kind of splits and stuff in it because it's been sort of beaten up, but it hasn't affected my sort of reading of it overall. The binding does lift off the hardcover a little, but it is quite heavily glued, so you don't get anywhere near the same stretch that you'd get on some of the sort of newer or sort of European books. But not that it caused me, as I say, any issues reading it. The art, like the other books, only gets better. I can't complain as far as the art is concerned at all. It's, you know, clear and crisp and looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. It's just great. It's basically a cartoon for kids, a cartoon for adults. So if you think about it in the sense of something like Family Guy or something like that, like just taking superhero characters and pushing them to the max, and yeah, it's twists and turns. Right, don't want to spoil where this all kind of goes, so let's just say sort of skip towards the back of things and we'll have a further look at that kind of stuff. So, as with all these books, we've got various kind of art and things in the back. I find as they're going on, I'm getting less tidbits as to kind of what they were thinking, and more just like, hey, look, this is a commission, or hey, look, here's some art we found. So I think they're running out of where the idea of Invincible came from kind of stuff. But they're still giving us plenty of content and showing us any changes and sort of development and things, so that's pretty cool. And I always give this a bit of a skim through before finishing up my sort of read through of each book, because it's a good time to just take a little bit of a break rather than diving straight from one into the other. And you kind of have to force yourself to do that a little bit, because you could just read this whole thing through in a few days, but I don't think you would absorb anywhere near as much if you're not sort of taking breaks as you go through. I have just loved reading this book, or this series of books, or whatever you want to call it, this elegy, this huge run, saga, whatever. It's probably one of the most interesting runs of books that I've read in a long time. Partly because a lot of it makes you kind of connect and empathize with the characters. It's a very simple family story in some ways, where you've got sort of broken family right now, a single sort of mum with sort of two sons to look after, and she's sort of out dating again, and the sons are growing up and trying to find their place in the world and all those kind of things where you just connect straight away. But then there's all these huge big sort of superhero antics going into sort of galactic planet sort of alliances and sort of worlds domination of planets, and like all that kind of stuff going on at the same sort of time. Nobody is completely irreplaceable, and I presume that actually includes Invincible himself at some point down the line. But they just go in the wildest directions sometimes. Sometimes it's completely predictable, sometimes it's not. So for instance, the whole relationship thing of him being with the sort of human character, but he liked the sort of superhero Atom Eve, was somewhat predictable that they would eventually kind of end up together. But something like, say for instance, throughout this book, we've been getting little sly looks and hints towards the younger brother having a sort of evil side. And my attention, while he's been a character, has been so focused on whether or not Invincible is doing the right thing or what everybody else is doing, that I wasn't paying as much attention to him until now. And now that I've noticed some of these little looks and things, I'm kind of seeing this other side which I didn't see was coming. So, I'm somewhat expecting some massive fight up between the brothers at some point, but I didn't see that coming up until this sort of arc, if you like. Getting back to this book, the main starting arc, as the back of the book says, is basically that they lose the trust with the main sort of government organisation. Invincible goes in and finds some of his enemies are basically working for the organisation, and at that point he basically says, look, I can't trust you. And yeah, it's kind of a big kind of thing. He's like, where's that moral line? And we get a bit of a story about Cecil himself and why he has the moral lines that he has, and how this all kind of came to be. So the status quo kind of changes again now, and the team's all kind of split up, and we've got a sort of government-ran team, a non-government-ran team, and then Invincible. Invincible still doesn't seem to be part of this main non-government team, even though he's the one that kind of pulled them away, which was a little bit weird. He doesn't really want to sort of dedicate himself to a team. It's almost like his ego just won't let him be part of a team. He's too good for that or something. Not that he's that in a bad way, it comes across that every team that he's been in, he's just kind of been like this pop-in guy rather than like a member of the team. But it is what it is. So we get this sort of development through that. We get development of the brothers. We get further story about him and, say, Adam Eve and their relationship, and they're sort of trying to find their place, whether or not they're going to stay at sort of university or get their own house, or what's going to kind of work there. I believe there's a further little story about Omni-Man and Alien the Alien as they're trying to get out of the Voltrumite sort of prison, and we learn a few sort of more things there as they sort of build a friendship and kind of team up. So it's a good sort of story overall. It's it's like watching kind of soaps, but explosive kind of superheroes. And it's just, yeah, good fun overall. I can't wait to kind of get into the next one, and I've only got to volume 6, so I'm going to have to start buying some more. I think it goes to, is it 10 or 12? I'm not 100%, but we should have a few more books to go. My biggest worry at this point isn't that they're going to disappoint me at any point in the story, it's just that I'm going to run out of story, because this has just been really good fun. Can't recommend this enough, and if you haven't checked it out already, you definitely should. At least book 1, give it a go, see what you think. You know, you'll be able to sell it if not, because there's plenty of people that want this book. But I would definitely recommend. Don't sleep on it. Check this out. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one.